Welcome back to A320 Knowledge, your trusted source for Airbus expertise. Today, we'll be diving into the importance of fuel temperature. In today's tutorial, we'll explore the following: why fuel temperature monitoring is important, the fuel temperature limitations for all A320 variants, what actions should be taken for high or low fuel temperatures, and tips for managing fuel temperature during different flight phases. Fuel has a specific viscosity range for optimal engine performance. Fuel viscosity refers to its thickness or resistance to flow. At high temperatures, fuel becomes thinner, i.e. a lower viscosity. This can lead to the fuel not atomizing properly, resulting in unburned fuel exiting the engine, reducing efficiency and power output. This can potentially lead to engine stalls or difficulty maintaining fuel flow. Also, hotter fuel can cause wear on engine components like fuel nozzles and pumps. At extremely low temperatures, fuel becomes thicker, i.e. higher viscosity. This can cause difficulty starting the engine because thick fuel may hinder proper fuel flow during the starting procedure. Also, very cold temperatures can cause fuel to solidify and block fuel lines, preventing fuel from reaching the engine at all. Fuel temperature is a direct result of the total air temperature of the aircraft. This is the temperature the aircraft's skin effectively feels. This can be monitored at all times on the lower ECAM display. The specific fuel temperatures are monitored on the fuel system display page, underneath each tank indication. The fuel quantity indicator, FQI, system plays a key role in fuel management. It doesn't directly measure temperature, but relies on temperature sensors within the fuel tanks. This data is then processed by the FQI computer and transmitted to the ECAM, providing pilots with real-time fuel temperature readings for each tank. Fuel freeze refers to the formation of wax crystals suspended in the fuel, which can accumulate when fuel temperature is below its freeze point and can prevent proper fuel feed to the engines. This waxing temperature is minus 47 degrees C for Jet A1, the most common jet fuel. During normal operations, fuel temperature rarely decreases to the point that it becomes limiting. However, extended cruise operations increase the potential for fuel temperatures to reach the freeze point. Fuel temperature will slowly reduce towards the total air temperature. The rate of cooling of fuel can be expected to be in the order of 3 degrees per hour, up to a maximum of 12 degrees per hour in the most extreme conditions. If fuel temperature approaches the minimum allowed, the ECAM outputs a caution. These are triggered at different thresholds depending on aircraft variant. Initially, an ECAM advisory will trigger when the fuel temperature drops below minus 40 degrees C. Then, the ECAM caution is triggered at minus 43 degrees C for the A319 and A320, and it is triggered at minus 44 degrees C for the A321. The difference can be explained by the different tank architectures. Check out our other tutorial on fuel feeding for a further explanation. If using Jet A fuel instead of Jet A1, the temperatures are significantly higher. The temperature must be closely monitored below minus 34 degrees C to make sure it doesn't drop below minus 36 degrees C. This ECAM is triggered in all flight phases except for 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. To simplify this, it is triggered whilst taxiing and in the non-critical phases of flight. When faced with this ECAM on the ground, the takeoff should be delayed until the temperatures are within limits. If the alert is triggered in flight, then consideration should be given to gaining a higher total air temperature. This can be achieved by descending or diverting to a warmer air mass. Below the tropopause, a 4,000-foot descent gives a 7-degree increase in total air temperature. In severe cases, a descent to as low as 25,000 feet may be required. Increasing the Mach number will also increase total air temperature. An increase of Mach 0.01 produces approximately 0.7 degrees increase in total air temperature. In either case, up to 1 hour may be required for fuel temperature to stabilize. The crew should consider the fuel penalty associated with either of these actions. Pilots need to be aware of these factors and take appropriate actions. If possible, pilots should try and avoid flying in static air temperatures of minus 65 degrees C and below. High fuel temperatures are found to be less common. However, in some parts of the world, they can pose a significant hindrance to crew. When the aircraft is filled to its maximum capacity, the fuel tanks are designed to expand by up to 2% to accommodate a 20-degree temperature rise without spilling. The fuel high-temperature ECAM is known to be triggered spuriously by interference from communication equipment. The procedure should only be applied if the message has not disappeared within 2 minutes. The actions are to immediately turn off the galley to relieve the electrical load on the IDG. This will reduce the heat emitted by the IDG. The temperature of fuel returning to the tanks is primarily a function of IDG cooling requirement. The fuel level sensing control unit also utilizes the fuel temperature sensors to control the IDG cooling recirculation. More on that in another video. An ECAM advisory is triggered above 45 degrees C. Again, consider turning the galley off in this scenario to relieve the load. The high-temperature ECAM caution triggers on the ground if the fuel temperature reaches 55 degrees C for the outer tanks and 45 degrees C for the inner tanks and A321 wing tanks. In this case, the taxi time should be limited and fuel temperature monitored. If the temperature reaches 60 degrees C for the outer tanks, 54 degrees C for the inner tanks, or 55 degrees C for the A321 wing tanks, then the takeoff must be suspended and the engine master on the affected side must be switched off. Takeoff may be performed once the fuel drops below these temperatures. In flight, the alert is triggered above 60 degrees C for the outer tanks and 54 degrees C for the inner tanks and A321 wing tanks. In the air, if only one side is affected, fuel flow can be increased so that less of the hot fuel is returned to the tanks. To achieve this, disconnect the auto thrust and adjust the thrust lever to increase the fuel flow through the IDG and decrease the temperature of the fuel returning to the tank. If the temperature gets too high, which is above 65 degrees C for the outer tanks or above 57 degrees C for the inner tanks and A321 wing tanks, an IDG disconnection will be required. Starting the APU and using the APU generator when disconnecting the IDG should be considered. In extreme cases, where the wing fuel temperature is very high on the ground, normally at least above 40 degrees C, the fuel in the center tank can sometimes become unusable at high altitude if it's not already been used up. This is because at high altitude, with a high fuel temperature, the pressure delivered by the center tank pumps becomes lower than the pressure delivered by wing tank pumps. Fuel temperatures can fluctuate throughout different flight phases. Here's a more detailed breakdown of how pilots manage it. During taxi, engine heat can raise fuel temperature, particularly in the inner tanks feeding the engines. Pilots can use techniques like alternating engine use by briefly running one engine at a time. This allows the other engine to cool down. Also, taxiing with reduced engine power reduces the overall heat generation. During the climb phase, as the aircraft climbs to colder altitudes, fuel temperature, especially in the outer tanks, can decrease. Pilots can increase their indicated airspeed, which increases the total air temperature and in turn warms the fuel. Also, a deviation request, if safe and approved by ATC, can facilitate a detour through a warmer air pocket to help regulate the fuel temperature. Cruise altitude typically offers a more stable temperature environment. However, pilots should still be mindful of flying through weather fronts. Cold fronts can cause a sudden drop in fuel temperature. Pilots might adjust airspeed or consider a temporary descent to manage this. The descent exposes fuel to warmer air, increasing the fuel temperature, especially in the inner tanks closer to the engine. Although it is an unlikely scenario, the engine power can be adjusted as needed to help prevent any overheating, especially during a rapid descent. Thanks for tuning into this tutorial on fuel temperature.